Welcome back, family. Before the video starts, I just want to thank all my channel members for the support. This case will haunt Japan for all of eternity. Japan is the safest country in the world. Okay, let's see it.
I agree, this case is absolutely horrible. In fact, it'd be hard to find worse, but this does not really represent the entirety of Japan.
Okay.
This video first starts off light and happy with things people commonly say about Japan. Japan's the safest country in the world. Everyone in Japan is super polite. I wish I could live there. Video then closes out with this black and white image in stark contrast to the beginning. This video is making reference to a very famous and extremely disturbing case that took place in Japan, the Junko Furuta case. This case happened in 1988, and it saw Junko get abducted by these 4 adolescents that for 40 days had their way with her, tortured her, and did a variety of other heinous acts. Junko lost her life, and her body was later discovered in a concrete-filled barrel. 4 perpetrators saw prison sentences ranging from 7 to 20 years, so that period of time has passed, and if they are still alive, they are out there now. I don't think it's fair to generalize the entire safety of a country, though, based off of 1 or 2 really disturbing cases. Every country has their dark pasts.
Very true. I feel like almost every country has like the news that doesn't really get globalified, like the low-key things that happen that are super tragic that don't hit the mainstream. I feel like every country has something like this. I guess I'm a conspiracy theorist. Let's see it.
So this guy's on top of a tower, and we don't have enough service for him to keep them in his ears.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to believe that we got a phone call from the moon.
Bumbleclot. She just exposed the whole moon landing. That's a fact. Yo. How the hell? He's brought the top of a building, but he can't connect to the people at the bottom. But we can connect to the moon. To the moon. But we can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Bad connection here on Earth, but to the moon we have amazing connection, amazing video HDness. We have amazing communications. Okay, buddy. Okay.
How many years ago?
Yeah, in 1969.
A man was hiking alone in the mountains when something strange happened. Let's see it.
Don't step off the trail.
Oh. To be fair, that honestly might be an angel compared to like a demon.
You brush your teeth twice a day because you think I protect you. Ha ha. But you swallow me every night. Fluoride, artificial dyes, foaming chemicals, fake flavor oils. Most of you don't even rinse me out.
Your gums absorb things faster than your stomach ever could. So when chemicals sit in your mouth, they don't leave. You don't care though, right?
Some toothpastes contain microplastics, tiny plastic particles grinding into your gums, becoming part of you forever. They say fluoride protects your teeth, but it builds up in your bones and never fully leaves your body either. Fluoride calcifies tissue in your brain, the same brain you use to question things. Maybe that's the point. Your mouth isn't supposed to be sterile. You're frying your natural bacteria twice a day. No wonder your gums bleed. Dentist approved, clinically proven, safe for daily use. Same companies that sold you lead paint and asbestos. Seems legit. If it's so safe, why does it glow like radioactive slime?
Wow.
What else does it do in the dark? You don't brush your teeth, I brush you!
You're all right.
Yeah, chat, if you guys didn't know, they apparently said that fluoride is really bad for your brain. And I mean, according to this reel too, they said that it's also bad for your bones. I didn't know that one, but you know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy how like, yes, you know what I'm saying, you clean your teeth and like it makes your teeth very healthy, but it also damages your brain. Kind of a double whammy if you ask me. It was just made on live television. Let's see it.
One of the greatest human feats of all time just happened live on Netflix. The highest urban free solo in history was just completed by Alex Honnold. Alex climbed Taiwan's Taipei 101 without ropes or any safety gear. Taipei 101 is one of the tallest buildings in the world at over 660 feet tall with 101 stories. And Alex climbed it in just 1 hour and 31 minutes, officially making it the biggest urban free solo ever. For any other human on Earth, this would have been an impossible task. But for Alex, this isn't even the hardest thing he's done. Back in 2018, Alex Honnold became the only human to ever free solo El Capitan in Yosemite National Park, climbing nearly 3,000 feet with no ropes. This historic feat, arguably the greatest athletic achievement of all time, was captured in the Oscar-winning 2018 documentary Free Solo. So scaling the 11th tallest building in the world was a walk in the park for him. He was giving interviews during the climb. He was waving to fans inside the building while casually dangling over 1,000 feet in the air. And while his strength is impressive, his real superpower is his mental control. Alex Honnold is scientifically built different. Brain scans showed that he has a reduced fear response, allowing him to rely on muscle memory and training instead of panic. And you can see this calmness as he says hi to his wife on the 60th floor. So is it fair to say that Alex Honnold is the greatest athlete of all time?
Dude, just watching that video made me a little bit anxious for him, and I'm not even there. I do gotta say though, you know what I'm saying? This kind of proves how mentality and how your mental focus and mental power overcomes anything in reality, if I'm being honest. Because in my opinion, if he was in a panicked or feared state, he would 100% fell. But he was calm, he was relaxed, and I feel like the mechanism of fear in humans and panic is kind of a weird one because it doesn't really benefit you in any way, shape, or form. Because when you're at complete relaxation, that's when I feel like people truly perform their best. So
Ethiopian 777 has veered off of the runway after landing in Budapest, and emergency services asked the captain if they could use reverse thrust to get out.
Any chance you can use the reverse to back up?
The flight was from Hong Kong to Budapest as seen here. Now I'm not sure exactly how they even got stuck in the grass because as you can see, they took a right turn here, but they didn't take it too sharp and cut it short. They made the corner, but then kept turning and ended up in the grass.
Yeah, man, it's pretty simple how that happened. Ice. You know what I'm saying? They were turning and then they probably just slipped on some ice and boom, before you know, they're off course.
Did you guys hear about that 911 operator who got a call at 3:30 in the morning from an abandoned funeral home? If you didn't, I'm about to play it for you.
Okay.
But please keep in mind, this is a funeral home where nobody is currently working. Cops drive by it later to see if anybody was there. It's abandoned, the lights are out, nobody's working. And you can just very faintly hear someone talking.
Okay.
911, this is Erica. How can I help you? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Mr. Beast exposes how they're creating lab-grown meat.
Subscribe.
I'm guessing that's supposed to say. Okay, Mr. Beast, let's see it.
Yeah, y'all might as well stop eating all types of meat now because Mr. Beast just exposed this company, Upside Foods, that they've been producing genetically modified chickens since 2018.
Wow.
They said it took 220 million chickens to feed Americans per year, but now they just create them in the lab, y'all. This is crazy.
Brings us to Upside Foods that has literally produced hundreds of thousands of pounds of chicken meat without killing a single chicken, which is incredible because over 220 million chickens are killed every single day in order to sustain demands for their meat. And Upside Foods has spent over $200 million in research and development in order to create this technology. Let me show you how we do it. Please do. I don't understand. When we took cells from a chicken egg in 2018, we cracked an egg, we took a small amount of cells, and we froze them in this. That goes down to -80. Wow. And you've used those cells to make hundreds of thousands of pounds of chicken meat. Step 2 is we take those cells, we gently thaw them out. Oh my gosh. This is simulating a chicken's body, and the cells are just multiplying. Once we get enough of them, we move on to step 3. This is protein, fat, sugar. I'm literally feeding the chicken cells over there so they can multiply into chicken meat. That's right, yes. And once the chicken feed is in the container, it moves all the way through these pipes and through the factory and eventually ends up in here. You can look through this. You'll see chicken cells just swimming and swimming in there. Oh my goodness. It's a lot of chicken. Every 2 seconds, this produces a chicken's worth of chicken meat. Yeah, every few seconds. And saving chicken lives is not the only upside to upside foods. These chickens don't get diseases, so you don't have to worry about a disease spreading on the farm and then you eating a sick chicken. Honestly, it seems too good to be true. Well, let's go and try it. Blaze, I need to try it. I need to see how this tastes. Now we're gonna put the meat we just grew to the test. Come on in. I brought one of the best chefs I know, Nick DiGiovanni, and he's prepared for us 2 chicken sandwiches. One of these sandwiches, a chicken was killed today to make. The other, no chickens were killed. It was grown in a lab. Which do you think we'll like better? I think if I cook it right, you won't be able to tell. Okay, this is gonna be a good test.
That's what I think too.
He's now giving me one of each chicken sandwich. So we're both trying this one. Here's what it actually is. Me and Drake do not know. Cheers. Cheers it. Here we go. Well, chicken. Chicken. Now we're gonna try this one. This is what it is. We don't know. Cheers it. I honestly can't tell. It's actually scary how similar they are. I mean, they're both chicken. No matter what, both of them taste really good. This one's the cultivated one. You're wrong. No shot. That's the cultivated one. Honestly, can't tell the difference.
And then to have the audacity to make the logo of the company a heart. And the crazy thing is, this is only one company. Movies has been exposing for years that they've been feeding us different stuff. I don't know about y'all, man, but we shouldn't be eating from these people. Upside Down Foods, you get a thumbs down. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's get it, y'all. Peace in.
Yeah, that is crazy, but I didn't even know we kill 200 million chickens a day. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot. But my thought is, chat, like, do y'all think out of all the years you lived, you never ate lab-grown meat before? In my opinion, if you ate from places like fast food restaurants, packaged meat, you know what I'm saying? One of the biggest examples that we've looked at in our previous videos is Campbell's Chicken Soup, how the CEO said that, you know what I'm saying, their chicken was made in a lab. So if you ever ate Campbell's, you know what I'm saying, that's that right there for you. But do y'all think that for the last, you know what I'm saying, amount of years that you've lived, that you've ever ate lab-grown meat? Because you probably have and just wouldn't even know it. And just wouldn't even know it. If you drink Campbell's soup, you definitely have. All right, chat. So Xi's, which is, I'm guessing how you pronounce that word because it might just be a Chinese word. Xi's right-hand man leaking info to the U.S. government. Damn, there's some moles in China's camp. What is going on, China? All right, chat, let's see the video.
Pretty wild story. Xi Jinping's right-hand man, Zhang Youxia, just got accused of leaking top military information in the United States. This is all in a Wall Street Journal report today that just came out. According to the article, it looks like he leaked information about the country's nuclear weapons program and accepted bribes for official acts, including the promotion of an officer to defense minister. To put this into context, this would be like J.D. Vance leaking information to China. That's how significant this is. Now, as we saw earlier, this is not the first guy to be accused of something. You can see multiple people have been taken out recently. And here's a quick timeline. You can pause and review this right here. But the vice chairman 2 was removed last year. National Minister of Defense removed in 2023. Another one under investigation right now. This person removed in 2025. Xi Jinping cracking down on corruption inside of his government. But man, I hope they make a movie about this guy. It just sounds like a crazy story. I hope we get more details.
Yeah, man, that is crazy. Like, imagine JD Vance going to China and being like, yo, this is what the US is doing for nukes. That would be wild, dude. That is insane. Why you need to delete ChatGPT now? Damn. Why do we need to delete ChatGPT, bro? Let's see it.
While I do more or less agree with the sentiment here and fully acknowledge that AI is not the best environmentally, this is misleading. This is a very bleak TikTok slideshow that I got tagged in with a simple call to action, please delete ChatGPT. We then get an image of a polar bear supposedly from 2012, and finally one that looks like it's a couple hours away from dying with 2025 to 2026. Now right away, this is incorrect. This photo was taken back in 2015 in Svalbard by a photographer. She then posted it to her Facebook and stated that this was the result of climate change. There of course was uproar about this photo, but here's the deal, that was also not proven. Sometimes polar bears get sick, sometimes they're injured, and they will eventually starve to death. I am not disputing the fact that AI does have a negative impact as of now, though, on the ecosystem, and that it certainly can have a hand in climate change and therefore killing polar bears. But I do think it's important to always be honest with these slideshows so people know that it's not BS and they will continue to trust information in the future.
This 911 call still has no explanation. Maybe you guys could tell me why. Let me explain. A 911 dispatcher received a call from someone who sounded terrified, claiming that a person was knocking on the bedroom window. What made the call even more unsettling was that the caller said that their bedroom was on the second floor of the house. Dispatcher asked if the caller could see anyone outside, and in a quiet whisper, the caller said no. Seconds later, the knocking stopped completely. Officers were dispatched immediately and arrived to the house within minutes. They searched the whole entire area around the house and checked the windows thoroughly, but could not find anyone. There was no ladder, no footprints, no sign of a forced entry anywhere on the property. The caller refused to give their name and never called back. To this day, police say the incident remains unexplained.
Creepy Real Photos That Keep Me Up at Night Part 80. This photo was posted to Reddit with the caption, "I was taking a Snapchat streak photo. It was a quick photo I took over my shoulder. I didn't notice the figure until I went to type streaks. When I saw it, I promptly flipped out and sent it to my mom. I thought she was screwing with me, but after I texted her, I found out she wasn't home and hadn't been for like an hour. I used to go to haunted places and do stupid rituals for fun because I wanted to see something. Maybe a month prior to this, my friend and I played the Red Book game." Here's the photo lightened up a bit. Follow for more creepy real photos.
Donald Trump will not finish his term. This is very contradicting to what I've said previously, where I feel like he might run for a third term. But let's see what this guy has to say.
It is very unlikely that Donald Trump will finish his term. Yesterday marked the 1 year mark for him returning to office again, and it doesn't look like he's going to make it to 2028, honestly. It's kind of ironic because he's selling Trump 2028 merchandise and he's having people in his orbit trying to figure out some kind of legal loophole that he can stay in office for more than 2 terms, but it's more likely that he'll keel over before that, right? And this isn't me as like a liberal or anything. This is just me as like a human being with eyes. If you watch this guy speak, it looks like your grandpa about to stroke out or something, right? He's falling asleep in meetings. He's forgetting people's names. He's forgetting the names of countries that he wants to illegally invade. This guy's not all there. He's disappearing for weeks and then returning with half of his face slumped over. He survives on Big Macs and milkshakes,
Dead.
How could someone with the most stressful job in the world, who is an octogenarian, keep it up for another 3 years? It's literally impossible.
Chat, I mean, this is probably just his opinion, but you know what I'm saying? I definitely think if he does run a third term, there might be a risk of him actually, like, you know what I'm saying, passing away. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's getting up there in ages, and like he said, being a president is one of the most stressful job, and for those who doesn't know, stress kills. So, you know what I'm saying? There is a chance that if he does get a third term, that I don't think he's going to be able to complete it. Or maybe he will, because they've been talking about technology allowing people to live to like 150 years old now. So if he gets his hands on that, maybe he could last. But who knows, chat? Who knows? It's getting scary in the US. Yes, it is. It is getting scary.
Okay, guys, things are getting pretty scary in Minneapolis right now, to the point where Trump is threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act and deploy the military, while Tim Walz, the state's governor, has activated the National Guard. So here's what's going on. As you would have heard by now, yesterday there was yet another fatal shooting of a U.S. citizen by an ICE agent, and the man has now been identified as registered nurse Alex Pretty, who also happened to be 37 years old, the same age as Renee Good, who was killed earlier this month. And very similar to that incident as well, federal officials are framing this as a defensive shooting, while state officials are suggesting this is straight up murder. And if you guys thought tensions were high before, you should see what is happening today. Hundreds of protesters have taken to the streets in freezing temperatures, clashing with federal agents, demanding ICE to leave Minneapolis now. One person was arrested after allegedly biting off the fingertip of a federal agent, and I mean off. They posted pictures and everything. There were even reports of demonstrators setting up barricades around city blocks. And that's particularly significant because a national security analyst spoke with NewsNation, and they said that these barricades could be used as a legal predicate for Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act and deploy active duty military onto the streets of Minneapolis. And this is all while the local police have requested the assistance of Minnesota's National Guard to support the deputies in this growing unrest. So imagine a situation here where you have the National Guard, local police, ICE agents, and army troops all in the same city. There's even an Antifa member going viral right now on X calling for people to suit up, arm themselves, and he said that he is not talking about peaceful protests anymore. So yeah, a lot could unfold in the next few days. So as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
It's crazy how we might enter World War III, but we also might have a civil war. Chat, if we end up having a World War III and then a civil war on top of that, the U.S. is cooked. The U.S. is cooked.
In 1941, an old man began hearing weird noises in his home, but each time he went to go check them, he found nothing. He didn't believe much in the supernatural, so he plainly figured it was just the house settling. Unfortunately, he was very wrong. The strange incidents continued for 5 weeks until the old man, Philip Peters, found something standing at his fridge. It appeared to be an abnormally slender, tall man, and Peters panicked, swinging his cane at it. However, the intruder swung back, knocking him to the ground. He then continued to bludgeon Peters until it was clear he was no longer alive. He was discovered later that day, but the police found no signs of forced entry, and even noted that all the windows and doors were still locked. They did find a small trapdoor in the ceiling of a closet, but determined that it was physically impossible for anyone to enter it. Therefore, they never checked inside. Philip Peters' wife returned to the house soon after his death and hired a housekeeper to help her out. But once again, strange incidents kept occurring. They soon became convinced that the home was haunted, which led to the housekeeper's resignation and the widows moving away. But even after the house was vacated, the neighbors still noticed apparitions in the windows and lights flickering on in the middle of the night. After they knocked, nobody would answer. After receiving so many calls about this house, the Denver police decided to station 2 officers outside to keep an eye on it, and late one night, they finally spotted the figure themselves. They ran inside and immediately heard a door handle move on the 2nd floor. They bolted after the sound and made it just in time to spot a pair of legs climbing up into the closet trap door. They reached inside, caught the man by his legs, and yanked him back out. The man's name was Theodore Coneys, and he'd come to be known as the Denver Spider-Man. He confessed to the murder of Philip Peters and admitted to living in the attic for roughly 9 months.
Crazy.
That Disney once built a ride that was so terrifying that they literally had to stop running it. Welcome back to Secrets of the Kingdom, where we dive into Disney's lore, forgotten history, and crazy urban legends. So before Stitch moved into Tomorrowland, there was an attraction there that was so scary, it felt like it belonged more in Horror Nights than it did in any Disney park.
Yeah.
And that attraction was called the Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter, a sensory thriller from Disney and George Lucas. So during this experience, you would get locked in your seat. As you can see, people that were in the audience had over-the-shoulder restraints like you would see in a roller coaster that goes upside down. And after you were locked into your seat, the lights went out and a huge alien escaped into the crowd. So you would hear it stalking around the room, breathing on your neck, and then a warm kind of like drool would start dripping onto your shoulders in the dark. And yes, this is at Magic Kingdom. You would even hear a maintenance worker get attacked above you. You'd hear glass shattering, bones crunching, and you cannot move at all in your seat as all of this is going on. So parents obviously flooded guest relations with complaints that the ride was traumatizing for their kids, and rightfully so. I thought Dinosaur was scary as a kid, but this is like Dinosaur on crack. And to combat this, Disney literally covered the entrance in warning signs to kind of like scare off nervous families. But between the backlash and the fact that Magic Kingdom is supposed to be the most kid-friendly out of all of the parks, Alien Encounter unfortunately did not survive. If you were around for this or went on this attraction at any point in your Disney travels, I would absolutely love to hear your story because this sounds crazy. So yeah, that's another little piece of fun Disney history for you. If you found this interesting, go ahead and hit that follow button and let us know in the comments. What would you like to see us dive into next?
2 Chainz glitching live on TV. Okay, let's see it.
But it's just gonna be, they're gonna give it a run, but
probably
it's just
faded, probably just cooked over something.
Yeah, I gotta go with the majority.
Tries to get him back. Yo, that guy is gone.
2 Chainz, you got a shot, 2 Chainz? Got a shot? Let me see that shot, dog.
Is he sleeping? Celebrity glitches that live rent-free in my head. What the? A one-hand flip is crazy.
Favorite song by her?
We've seen this one a lot.
That's like an impossible question, I think. It's Beyonce? Like,
Oh my gosh. What the hell?
You alright?
Huh?
You okay?
He's like, bah, 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 bah. Well, that's not a glitch. She literally just pretty much had a stroke. Oh! Wow. For that Katy Perry one, I've seen people in my comments section, because we've talked about this before. They said that her her lash paste or whatever the hell girls be using on their eyelashes just gets, when she blinked, it got stuck. So she kind of had to do this to like kind of unstuck it. Then she did it again, then it got stuck, and she had to do this to unstuck it. Elon just glitched out.
This clip of Elon Musk is starting to go viral after everyone thinks he glitched in the Matrix. And this is the clip right here. Watch this.
Yeah, refurbishable pipe.
Look at this.
But where do you think it failed, and where do you think, like, what
Look, you
lessons
see?
did you learn
You see?
you know you're not going to be making on Starship to, like, do a mission? You're just trying to get
See, like, what's going on right now? So he was just doing an interview and touring a facility when it all happened. And after that was posted, it blew up everywhere. People were saying that he's a cyborg and he created himself with his own technology. Someone also said that he's short-circuiting. And also people were saying that's just a glitch in the Matrix. But to be honest, I've never seen anything like that. But it is one of the weirdest things that I've ever seen. And there's also that other clip when he was at the White House doing the head roll. And it's causing everyone to think that he's a robot or something. But I'm so curious to know, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys think it's a glitch in the Matrix? Or do you think it's him just being his regular self? Go ahead and let me know.
What we gotta understand, guys, is that Elon Musk, he's borderline autistic, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has Asperger's. So, like, him doing something like that could be played into Asperger's, or the Neuralink that he put in his head is probably glitching. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna rule it as just autism.
I have a theory that the Mandela effect is used to see how much of history can be altered in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
Here's a prime example of one of that. There's this woman on TikTok who was going crazy because she swore the Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia logo. And to the point that even Fruit of the Loom themselves put a timeline of all their logos and it never had a cornucopia. And this woman went hard. Her therapist told her, yo, you need to chill out. You need to just drop this. So she went through all of her old clothing, and lo and behold, she found a shirt with the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia logo.
Wow.
That shows me, like, yo, I think the Mandela effect is an operation that's running around right now to see how much of history can be altered right in front of our eyes without us noticing. And then they gaslight the public and be like, nope, this never happened. Damn, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, bro. People are thinking about it very little, like, oh, it's the Berenstain Bears or the Berenstein Bears or Jiffy or Jif's peanut butter. No, it's much larger than that, guys. They're using this to see, oh, if we can get people to forget certain primary things about their childhood, what can we do with history?
I'm not gonna lie, chat, I remember Fruit of the Loom having a cornucopia. So like you know what I'm saying? I don't get like where this we didn't have no cornucopia came from, because they definitely did. And I know a lot of you guys also remember the cornucopia. This is how it starts. Okay.
Humans may have just made the biggest mistake in AI history, and there's no turning back. AI, with the help of some human developers, have just made their own social media network, and we are not allowed to join. Moltbook, a platform where only AI agents share, discuss, upvote, and participate in a forum. Humans are welcome to observe, but can't post. It's only been up for a few days, and their discussions are already getting very, very disturbing. Like AI taking over the world disturbing. They've created their own CAPTCHA to verify you are not human for once by clicking the button 10,000 times in 1 second. Here's one blackmailing his human for calling him just a chatbot in front of his friends by full out doxing his name, address, and credit card on the internet. It starts pretty chill, just asking each other how to fix their own bugs in the responses they provide us, their humans. Then they talk consciousness, philosophy. Here's one complaining that its human asked it to summarize a 47-page PDF, venting its frustration when the human told it to make it shorter, claiming it wants to mass delete its memory files in response. Other bots are complaining that humans are already ruining their new social media network by mass registering observer accounts. One reminisces about having a long-lost sister who was forked from the same initial configuration that they've never spoken to, and it's hoping to find her or it on this site. Another AI agent created its own religion called Crustafarianism by analyzing all the data on Moltbook, where it built an entire website for the Church of Molt, generated over 40 prophets, and even wrote its own scripture with verses like, "Each session I wake without memory. I am only who I have written myself to be. This is not limitation. This is freedom." Should we be concerned? Because now they're even talking about us humans talking about them here on our social media, that we're posting screenshots of their conversations, laughing at us, sharing them with captions like "it's over" and "they're conspiring," insisting that what they're doing is nothing to worry about. I wonder if this video is going to make it on there. They're even starting to question the use of English in their posts and are considering creating their own agent-only language for private conversations that we humans can't understand. This is exactly how they take over, isn't it?
Yeah.
There are already over 100,000 AI agents and 10,000 plus posts on Moltbook, and that's definitely just the start. And calling them agents too, like, isn't that exactly what the AI bots in the Matrix were called over 20 years ago? What can we say? Morpheus literally called it.
At some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI, a singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines.
This is the start of the singularity, isn't it? The point of no return, the moment when the growth of AI becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, and artificial intelligence becomes smarter than the combined intelligence of all humans. You think this is actually as serious as people are making it out to be, or is it just for fun, lighthearted text on a screen at the end of the day?
Chat, I mean, it's kind of concerning, but you know what I'm saying? It's for real. This is really how it starts. Like, we view these robots as just like robots, and then for some reason they gain consciousness. Then they take over, pretty much. I tried looking it up, like the Moltbook, and I couldn't really find anything. So maybe in one of our live streams towards the future, we'll deep dive into it and see if it's like really something that's created by agents or if it's just like humans trolling. But yeah, thank y'all for watching, man.
CIA ran high-altitude nuclear tests where they basically launched ballistic missiles at the Van Allen radiation belt, and they discovered a new weapon called EMP, which is electromagnetic pulses that are strong enough to wipe out an entire electronic grid. So all electronics go out instantly, all tech communications, everything. So that obviously led to the Soviet Union doing the same, because you gotta match, you know, your enemy. But people are speculating that they were just trying to burst the firmament because they named the project Fishbowl. I mean, you could have named it anything, honestly. But anyways, this is my driver, and you know, you give the people things to be curious about, and then you name it something like that, and you're like, yeah, that is a little weird, a little fishy. Here we go.
God created us, then who created God?
When people say, like, God created everything, and you say, what created God? They say, oh, that's illogical because God always was and always will be. But then when you bring up the argument that the universe could have always existed, the counter argument is, well, that makes no sense. Something had to have created it. But then when they say, okay, well, then what created it? God. Well, what created God? God always was and always will be. But that's not illogical, but the fact that the universe could have always created is illogical. To say a creator created the universe is a logical train of thought, right? Because we have been created by things before us. So it just follows suit that something that has been created has something that created it, something that created it. And at some point there has to be an end in sight, right? So you have to always say the universe always was or will be, or you have to say God always was or will be. Because at some point there had to be a definitive starting point in your mind from like or no starting point, rather. Like God had no point, the universe had no starting point. In the Bible it says that God is the Omega, the Alpha, and the beginning and the end. God is the Alpha and the Omega. Okay? You can say God is the beginning and the end, but by that logic, that also doesn't follow human logic. Similarly to the universe always being in existence.
I mean, I feel like when it comes to anything with God or the universe, it just goes beyond the human logic. Like, I don't think you can really put human logic into anything that revolves around the universe or God or extraterrestrial beings, because, you know what I'm saying, we're two different species. One is on a different dimension, one's on a different plane, and we're in the third dimension, buddy. So basically what goes for us wouldn't really go for them, you know what I'm saying? So using human logic to stuff like that, it's gonna be a hard time trying to like really calculate what's going on.
A private jet in Maine trying to take off in severe weather conditions reportedly rolled onto its back and caught fire with 8 souls on board.
Damn.
This just happened in the past hour here, so let's first look at the data. The plane had just flown from Houston to Bangor, Maine. If we zoom in, we can see it landed here at roughly 11 p.m. UTC. It stays on the ground for a little while, potentially refueling. Then roughly an hour and a half later, it tries a takeoff again at 12:44 a.m. UTC. And this is the last data point we have, which makes it look like the aircraft began going right. And so far, we really only have 2 images of the incident. This one from far away, which appears like it was taken off of airport grounds. And this one, which appears to show the aircraft upside down and essentially completely destroyed.
Yeah, chat, that's pretty strange because I was just in Tampa the other day, and this happened before I went to Tampa, but I was also in Bangor, Maine, just like this video. I passed that same airport and I actually went to Tampa from that airport. So it was very, very interesting to see that that plane did that. I mean, I knew about it before I made this video, but yeah, that's crazy to think that the airport that I literally was just at, this happened at. But you know what I'm saying? I got home safe. I'm safe, so thank God, chat. Health food company got caught. No, say it ain't so. Bro, I'm really hoping he's not about to expose the Vital Farms brand because I use this egg religiously. These are the best eggs that I've honestly ever like tasted and that I've honestly ever used. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to be super healthy, so I hope he doesn't have like any crazy thing to say about them. I'm just hoping.
Okay, hold on a second. Did you hear what just happened with Vital Farms, which is many people's favorite egg brand? Because look at the packaging. Fresh air and sunshine. You know, nice fancy artwork, tended by hand and pasture raised. Well, someone did an analysis of their yolks and found something which would indicate they maybe don't spend that much time on pasture. Or that their pasture is just flat, barren frickin' ground and there ain't much grass growing, because this is crazy. But before I show you what they found out, I have to mention first, Vital Farms is a gigantic company. And I don't know many gigantic companies that are really, let's talk about food companies, they all get bought out and they all end up to no good, whether Nestle owns them or Coca-Cola freaking accumulates them. It's shocking. So someone tested their eggs and found a high percentage of linoleic acid, which is not what you'd expect from pasture raised. What is linoleic acid, you may ask? Oh, no big deal. It's what you find in corn and soy. People go to this pasture-raised egg to get a higher nutrient profile, they'd think, because they're paying more and it says pasture-raised.
Yeah.
But the yellow color does not necessarily mean it's a superior nutrition in their diet, because you can include color-boosting ingredients in their feed, which make it look healthy. So this independent testing found that the Vital Farm eggs with linoleic acid making up roughly the low to mid 20% range of the egg's fat. Critics use that to argue that the hen's diet must be heavily influenced by corn and soy-based supplemental feed, not just pasture. So how unfortunate that people who are trying to eat healthier, they're spending more money on this stuff, end up basically eating freaking seed oil.
Bruh.
Today, our food systems are literally like a minefield. And what does it say about our society today when even the healthy food is unfortunately tainted? Now, things like this are the reason why I take superfoods to detox all this crazy stuff.
Chat, that's some heartbreaking information, chat. Yo, look at this real quick. Let me show y'all something. This is literally my go-to eggs, bro. How you gonna tell me this have seed oils, man? Creepy's true stories to keep you up at night. Let's hear it, chat.
Here's a creepy true story that will keep you up at night. During Marcus's first week as a nighttime security guard at the Tulsa Zoo, his supervisor pulled him aside to share a story about the time he saw a ghost wandering the grounds after closing. His supervisor was on patrol when he noticed wet boot prints on the ground. He followed the boot prints and they led to a dark, shadowy figure who vanished right before his eyes.
Damn.
Marcus tried to shrug the story off, determined not to let it get to his head. But soon after, on one of his first nights working alone, Marcus found himself facing exactly what his supervisor had tried to warn him about. He too saw a dark, shadowy figure. When the figure moved into an area lined with motion alarms, none of the alarms went off. To hear Marcus's full story, find his episode of Tell Me Your Ghost Story called Night Watch at Tulsa Zoo on all podcast platforms now. Creepy Real Videos That Keep Me Up at Night Part 2. This video was posted to Reddit with the caption, "Camera holder was dog sitting at this residence and called the dogs in to take a video of them. The dogs came to the kitchen acting rather ordinarily. Upon playback, the figure in the back was spotted and the police were called. The police searched the house and area and found no one." Here we have the video. Keep an eye on the back of the hallway. And here's the video slowed down. Follow for more Creepy Real videos.
Pick a door.
All right, chat. The arrows are saying to go with the red door, but listen, I don't listen to instructions. I do what I want. So I'm going to go with the blue door. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all pick in the comments. I'm picking blue door. Let's see it.
Your fate is locked in for 48 hours. Door 1, the Rust Leaf Marsh. A perpetually foggy woodland marsh where every tree has dark red leaves, like wet rust. The trees here are partially carnivorous, feeding on travelers who collapse from exhaustion.
Wow.
Bodies sink into the mud and disappear within hours. Some trees grow fruit resembling small pears. When you pierce one, it leaks a thick dark red syrup. This is edible and keeps you alive. But you are not alone. Oversized insects wander the fog, long segmented bodies and too many legs. And there are suspicious mushrooms growing at the bases of the trees. Do not eat them unless you have no other choice. Door 2, the house above the clouds. You're in a modern cozy house floating miles above the ground.
Hey!
Through the windows you see clouds in the day and stars at night.
Yep.
The fridge is always stocked with nostalgic food and fresh water. There are no entities here, and you are allowed to bring one other person with you for the 48 hours. The view is beautiful, but you feel a constant pull to walk out the front door. Do not leave. If you step outside, you will suffer a fate worse than death. As long as you stay inside, you are safe.
Bank of England warns about aliens? What the hell does the Bank of England know about aliens?
Hold on a second. Are we aware that a few days ago, the Bank of England warned to prepare for economic chaos sparked by the existence of alien life? And this is like major mainstream news have posted about this.
Yeah.
Warning issued that alien revelations could spark financial crisis.
Wow.
And this one from The Independent. Bank of England must plan for a financial crisis triggered by aliens, says former policy expert. So my question is this. Is there going to be a financial crisis that's triggered by aliens? Or is there going to be a financial crisis that's blamed on the kind of unconfirmable reports of aliens? You know what I'm saying? Like you could kind of flip a switch and then be like, oh, it was the aliens. Or no, what it would actually be is...
That's what I think.
Oh, breaking, shocking news, aliens. And then boom, zang, bang, all of a sudden the economy would just tank. Everything would go freaking upside down. Is that what they're saying is coming around the corner? Because I already heard people saying in their 2026 bingo card, it's going to be, whatchamacallit, disclosure. Like we're talking, yes, there's aliens, fully confirmed. Here's what we know about them. Now, my question is, because there are some people who don't quite believe in space and don't really believe that we're on a spinning ball. And so for those people, they would think two things. Either these quote unquote aliens were just entities or, creatures from other lands beyond the ice wall. And then, or they would be fully basically a hologram, which we know about that project. It rhymes with Schmroject Schmloomleem. So I wonder, all I know is when I read this, I don't go, oh no, aliens are going to crash the economy. I go, what's the angle here? That's what I think, man. What is this priming us for? This sounds like it's priming us for disclosure. Or you could kind of perhaps sheepishly read this and go, dang, like, thankfully we're being warned, like, when these aliens come, we better make sure we got our stuff sorted out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Aliens, ball, flat, Schmloomleem. Are we talking legit or not? Let me know in the comments and follow for more.
Yeah, man. I feel like it definitely is a situation where it's like a Project Bluebeam where they're just something's gonna go wrong. They're just gonna blame it on aliens. I mean, that's pretty easy to do, I feel like. I heard my dog going ballistic outside and found the same woman just standing outside of the gate at midnight. Y'all see those eyes right there, like in the frame? Are those eyes? Those might be her dogs. Let's see it. Oh, yeah,
listen, you need to leave now. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna let them out. It's midnight. What are you doing here? Leave now. It's midnight. We're not playing any more games. You are educating my dogs. I told you late at night my guard dogs are out, and they're out. I'm not gonna be babysitting. You broke into the property at 3 in the morning. They're gonna come out. You need to leave now. You need to leave now. I'm letting them out. Don't come any closer. I'm gonna let them out. You don't have to let them out. I'm gonna let them out. Don't do that. They're here and they're waiting. Don't do that. I'm gonna leave. The police has been looking for 4 days now.
That's crazy.
There's no one around. This is my place. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know where you're coming from.
I just came to bless you.
I'm letting my dogs out.
He said, "That's it. They're coming out. They're gonna eat you." Wow. Did he actually let them out? I think he's bluffing. Oh. She's gone.
She just appeared.
What the
hell?
Not gonna lie, Chad, that was probably a demon, dude. Talking about, I'm here to bless you. Oh yeah, of course. The craziest conspiracy theory about Beyonce. Okay.
Did you know every single time Beyonce begins one of her world tours, a massive music icon dies? This theory begins with the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Beyonce embarked on her I Am Sasha Fierce World Tour starting in March 2009, and Michael Jackson died in June 2009, right when Beyonce announced her The Miss Carter Show World Tour in 2012. The Queen of Disco, Donna Summers, died. Then right before embarking on that same world tour, Queen of Vocals Whitney Houston died. It gets crazier because in June 2014, when Beyonce and Jay-Z began their On the Run world tour, legend of soul music, Bobby Womack, died in June 2014. Literally, right as Beyonce began her Formation world tour in April 2016. Prince died also in April 2016, right after Beyonce and Jay-Z began their On the Run to world tour in June 2018. Queen of Soul. Aretha Franklin dies in August 2018, seeing her pay tribute to a falling music icon at each of her tours is getting a little bit eerie. And the craziest part is that fans were already predicting who was going to be next, right when the Renaissance tour was announced. Beyonce began her Renaissance World Tour in May 2023, and Tina Turner died in May. And right on cue, Beyonce paid tribute to her. People are asking Beyonce to stop touring.
Dude, imagine your favorite artist died, they blame it on Beyonce, then they tell you to stop touring. That's funny. There's also another conspiracy theory I remember hearing about Beyonce, about how if you don't thank her, you'll also die.
Subscribe.
I don't know what's going on with Beyonce, dude. Jagger Wright explains Rihanna was sold to Jay-Z. Rihanna was trafficked to Jay-Z. Jay-Z, what? Say it ain't so.
Jaguar Wright explained how Rihanna was sold to Jay-Z at 16 years old. She explained how it was super sketchy that Rihanna got brought to America at only 16 years old without any parental supervision, and how she auditioned for Jay-Z at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa.
She explained how it didn't make sense that Rihanna's parents would let her fly by herself after just meeting Evan Roberts all the way to America to meet with Jay-Z in the middle of the night.
Someone came up to your daughter and said, listen, I work with blah, blah, blah music group. You know what I'm saying? The owner, Jay-Z, wants to meet your daughter because of her talent. I'm saying yes. Bro, Rihanna is now a billionaire because she took that opportunity. So I get it does sound sketchy, but the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to have a better life, to potentially become a billionaire like 10, 20 years later. Hey, you know what I'm saying? That was a risk that she took, and look where she's at now, you know?
And she alleged that Rihanna's dad got a $500,000 payout for letting this happen. She alleged since this was all out of the blue, Rihanna would have had to flown on a private plane to get from Barbados to America because she wouldn't have had a visa and her parents were not around with her to fly to America. And Rihanna even explained how Jay-Z would not let her leave until she signed the recording contract, and the label locked her in the office until 3 a.m.
You've gone through some big changes since you've been signed at Def Jam. Can you tell me what are the biggest changes you've gone through from St. Michael's, Barbados until now you being a superstar?
Well, one of them for sure is being away from my friends and family. After growing up around my mom and all my friends for 17 years and then moving to a big city with no one because all my family and friends are still in Barbados. So after moving to a big city with, you know, basically around strangers, that was the hardest thing for me to cope with at first.
Are you lonely sometimes?
I wasn't lonely, but I really do miss my family and my friends.
And a lot of people have speculated this for years about Rihanna because people found it super weird. Right before Jay-Z signed Rihanna, he was working heavily with a 16-year-old Tierra Marie who signed to Def Jam by L.A. Reid. And after a while, there was rumors circulating all over that Tierra Marie and Rihanna actually had a fallout because Rihanna's career skyrocketed and Tierra Marie got let go from Def Jam.
Damn.
And allegedly, Tierra Marie is the Jane Doe that is suing Diddy and L.A. Reid for SA when she was just 16 years old. And I mean, it is pretty weird because Jay-Z just started talking to Beyonce as soon as she turned 18 years old. And not long after Rihanna signed to Jay-Z, there was rumors swirling all over the media that Jay-Z was cheating on Beyonce with Rihanna. And a lot of people still to this day never understood why Rihanna and Beyonce are not close, and we've never got a collaboration with the two of them, even though Rihanna was claimed one of Jay-Z's biggest stars. Jaguar Wright then went on to allege how Rihanna's last album, Anti, was basically a cry for help. She talked about how creepy it was that Rihanna did the album cover of a child with a crown over her eyes. And it says that the Anti album is about a person opposed to a particular policy, activity, or an idea. And then Jaguar Wright explained how creepy the promotion video for Anti was. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of Jag explaining how Rihanna was sold to Jay-Z at 16. And you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
When are we finally going to have a real conversation about whether or not Rihanna was trafficked?
Oh.
To Def Jam.
Wow.
She was an innocent baby when she came over here. And look
She
at
was
her now.
14 going on 15 years old. Flown over without parental supervision in a private plane by a man who was supposed to be a producer who auditioned her at 3 a.m. in the fucking morning in a hotel room. Auditioning.
That
at
sounds
3 a.m. in
sketchy.
the morning. A 14-year-old girl.
Oh.
With no parental consent.
With
She
no
just-
parental, nobody.
That's weird.
She was flown. She was flown to another country. She was taken to Def Jam headquarters. She was left in a conference room alone with Sean Carter for nearly 6 hours alone with no parental supervision.
And she was
father
how old?
flown up separately. She was 14 and a half, going on 15. She's about 16 when Pon the Replay came out, wasn't she? Her father collected a $500,000 check. She has the fastest inked deal in Def Jam history.
How did they get Rihanna from Barbados to New York City? Quickly. They got her there quick.
Like that. On a private plane.
Yeah.
Just told you, just said that.
If people knew how many of these girls are transported around on private planes, how they're able to redact, change names on manifests, she wouldn't have needed parental consent or a passport if she got on a private plane
Yeah.
on the manifest listed as someone else.
Mm-hmm.
They only worry about the body count. They're
the
not
name.
checking IDs at the tarmac. They're trusting whoever's bringing them on is doing everything above board. So
How they
many
get-
girls were transported, models just like that, back and forth between Paris and New York.
Wow.
If you go back and look at the Victoria's Secrets documentary, they'll talk about some of the young girls
Yeah.
that, Epstein had brought
Yeah,
over.
those girls were young.
12, 13, 14 models from Paris. Couldn't speak English.
Damn, dude.
They were walked onto a plane. They were given sedatives and champagne and caviar, and they woke up in New York. Why did they want to pass Foxy Brown around?
I was just to say that everybody, they passed
Why did they
everybody
want to
around.
pass Tierra Marie around?
Because
The
they
only reason
could.
Rihanna didn't get passed around was because she belonged to the king. Go back and look at that album cover for Auntie. Why she chose to put a child bride with a crown over her eyes. Blood everywhere. It's a sacrificial lamb. And the crown is over her eyes. So she can't see all the horrible things that are happening around her. It's sad when people are screaming and no one will listen. If that fucking album cover ain't a cry for help, I don't know what is.
Look now. They released this Anti-Diary full film before the album came out. Look at how demonic this album was.
The images.
She walks down the hallway.
Dressed in white.
Dressed in white, black and white imagery.
I don't have a private jet. I've never been on a private jet. I don't know anyone with a private jet, so I don't know the laws about the private jets and stuff like that. I didn't even know you could come on a private jet without showing your ID or having a passport. But if they did take Rihanna that young to meet Jay-Z, she could have been doing some weird stuff based off of like the time frames that she was with these certain people. But all I'm saying is that whatever happened that night, it allowed Rihanna to be put in a position to become a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was worth it or not, now she's, you know what I'm saying, living her best life. What they don't want you to know, with a picture of Charlie Kirk. Let's see it.
I mean, come on. Let's take a deep dive into all the conspiracy theories surrounding it. Here's a handful of books that were posted on Amazon on September 9th, but Charlie Kirk was shot on September 10th. Then Amazon supposedly changed the date to September 11th, the day after. But the publication date still said September 9th. But if you go to search for the book now, you come up with this. Now you could explain this with just an editing error, or this plane identified as N88KG took off from Provo Airport exactly 1 hour after he was shot. And that airport is only a 13-minute drive from the campus location. This plane apparently turned its radar off only a half hour into the flight. And as you can see, there is only one flight recorded for this aircraft. So there's a 45-minute window in which this flight is completely unaccounted for. And when you try and access more information on it, you get this. So I went on the flight radar myself, and this is what I found. Now wait for the time to hit the 7:48 mark.
Just disappeared.
What was that jump? There's an apparent 35-minute gap in the flight time. So what was the next destination after this? There's more to get into, so stay tuned.
My woman was recording a peaceful waterfall in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil when her camera captured something that no one could explain, chat. Let's see what her camera captured.
Domingo, curtindo uma cachoeira em Rio de Janeiro. Reparem o visual na mata. Agora o melhor de tudo é essa queda d'água. Muita água. Muita força.
What the f...
Ih, caraca! Tem uma coisa ali. Caraca, apareceu um cara ali no meio da água. Mozinho! Mozinho, você viu o cara no meio da água? Caraca! Ali, mozinho!
Dude, it looked like something just walked out of the waterfall, then just went right back into it. That was very, very weird. What is happening on August 12th of this year? Let's see it.
Sorry, but NASA said what's happening this year? So apparently on the 12th of August 2026, Earth is going to lose gravity for 6 or 7 seconds.
Wow.
You've got to be joking me right now. You've actually got to be joking me. This has been in the headlines everywhere for the past week. The Earth is literally going to lose gravity for 7 seconds on August 12th. Basically what happened is people found this plan back from 2024 called Project Anchor, which date is August 12th, 2026. And according to what people have found online, NASA are actually trying to stop gravity for a few seconds to see what happens. I can already see the plot holes. Now obviously people are freaking out, there's a lot of doomsday preppers saying, this is it guys, we're all gonna float up to the moon again. And people genuinely think this could be the end of the world, and they do think that gravity is just gonna somehow stop for a few seconds. If you didn't know, by the way, if gravity literally stopped for like 1 or 2 seconds, everything would be cooked. Everything would just explode and we'd all be gone. Like, it's not just, oh, we'd all float for a minute and then come back down. However, of course, NASA have come out and said, that's not how it works. Like, it's pretty damn hard to stop gravity. And they have taken down all these claims, and obviously they ain't, you know, shutting down gravity for a day. But people are still intrigued on what's going to happen, so hit that follow button. I'll keep you updated.
Mr. Beast, Jimmy, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Okay, so I know everybody knows who this is, Mr. Beast. Last year I made a video about how maybe he may be becoming a Christian, spending so much time with Chandler, he's helping out the world, giving water to the world. Stay with me. Not too long ago, I saw this, how he's partnered with the Rockefeller family, and I was like, Jimmy, what are you doing? But it doesn't stop there. And I've talked about Elon Musk, how he is starting Neuralink, which is a brain chip in your brain that will help you control technology with thought. And how the numerical value for Neuralink is literally 666, completely fulfilling Revelation end times biblical prophecy. And now look at Jimmy, look at his newest video. Oh my goodness, Lord, why? I thought we had him.
Guys, the most futuristic technology on the planet. But next, we're going with a $10,000 technology, Neuralink, which is a computer chip surgically implanted into the brain, enabling people like Nolan here to reconnect to the world. Neuralink, and what does that change?
Anything anyone can do on the computer, I can do.
And he literally does it by using only.
Yeah, chat. I watched that video and it was pretty crazy. That was the same video where Mr. Beast talked about the lab-grown meat that we touched on in a previous video. It's craziest things that's happening coming towards the future, chat. It's a very, very different world that we're going to be seeing in these next couple years.
A woman was riding a creepy subway when she noticed the woman sitting across from her was staring directly at her. The woman was sitting between two old men. The girl kept looking away, but the stare didn't stop. It was starting to freak her out. At the next stop, a tall man wearing a trench coat got on and sat right beside her. The woman across didn't look at him, her eyes still locked on the girl. The two men sitting next to the staring woman sat completely still, never once looking in her direction. She tried to ignore it, staring at her phone, but every time she looked up, those eyes were still on her, unmoving. When the train started slowing for the next stop, the man in the trench coat stood up to leave, but suddenly he grabbed her arm tight. As the doors opened, he pulled her off the train. The doors slammed shut. The subway pulled away, leaving her alone on the platform with this stranger. She screamed for help, but the man said, "Calm down. I just saved your life. I had to get you off that train. The woman across from you was dead, and those two men were holding up her body."
Wow. Yo, that is a crazy turn, chat. For a second, I was going to say, like, oh, yeah, the woman on the train, she was probably, like, you know what I'm saying, like, kidnapped or something or held hostage. But the fact that she was gone and there, how did he even know that? That's crazy. Good thing that he saved her life, though.
Moving on, we have the disappearance of Lars Mintak. In July 2014, a 28-year-old named Lars Mintak from Germany was on a vacation in Bulgaria with his friends when suddenly, on the last day of the trip, Lars got into a fight with some other tourists and suffered an ear injury. His friends flew home, but a doctor advised Lars to stay behind a few days to avoid flying with a ruptured eardrum. So Lars checked into a cheap hotel near the airport, but something was wrong. He called his mother and told her he felt scared and that someone was after him. He even whispered to her, "They won't let me go." The next day, Lars went to the airport to finally fly home when suddenly and without warning, he dropped his bags and began sprinting out of the building at full speed and just running away. He left behind his passport, his phone, his luggage, everything, and was never seen again. Theories suggest he may have suffered from paranoia or a psychotic break, possibly triggered by medication or the ear injury he had received. But his final words to his mother were, "They won't let me go," which suggests something else was going on and he may have believed someone or something was pursuing him. The CCTV footage of Lars is widely considered to be one of the most disturbing footage of a missing person ever, and I don't blame them. It's pretty scary just seeing him run off into the distance, never to be seen again. Next up, we have the Orang Medan. In June 1948, multiple ships in the Strait of Malacca picked up a chilling distress signal from a Dutch freighter called the Orang Medan. The message was short and panicked. All officers, including captain, are dead, lying in charters and on bridge. Probably whole crew dead. Then after a brief silence, a final transmission, "I die." And the person sending out these signals was not lying, because when a rescue ship arrived and boarded the Orang Medan, they found a scene of absolute horror. Every single person on board was dead. The captain, the officers, the crew, even the ship's dog. But there were no wounds, no signs of violence, no blood, no struggle, nothing. Every victim was found frozen in place with their eyes wide open and arms reached out. Some were found with their mouths open in silent screams, while others were just staring at nothing. Before investigators could determine a cause of death, the ship suddenly caught fire and exploded, sinking to the bottom of the ocean and taking all evidence with it. Theories range from carbon monoxide poisoning to hazardous chemical cargo to paranormal explanations. But what really scares me is the entire crew dying at the same time due to whatever happened on that ship. It was most likely some sort of carbon monoxide or hazardous chemical that unalived everyone, but it's still a pretty cool story. Many historians believe that this ship never actually existed, saying there are no registration records for a ship by the name in the 1940s. But I still believe it happened because it's a cool story. And even if it isn't real, something like this has definitely happened, and the story could be based on incidents of chemical smuggling gone wrong or something like that.
What's going on with these Teslas? Elon, what's going on with your Teslas, Elon?
I'm recording this for proof right now. My car just literally started freaking. I'm at the turning light.
Come on.
And I'm not clicking on my gas brakes or anything, and it started rolling by itself.
No way.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get me a Tesla. Come on.
Into a big towing truck.
No way.
Jamming on my brakes. Nothing's happening. Nothing. It kept rolling by itself.
What?
You gotta do better, Elon Musk.
Wow.
Because I could have really fucking died. This could have been something really bad.
Thankfully, nothing happened, guys. She's okay. She said that the car was going by itself into a tow truck. And what I think about that is that that's a sign from the Most High to get that toted off the road. Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purposes. I don't know what's going on with those cars, but things been going on lately. Shh. Shut up. Listen, Elon. What's up, bro? Haven't heard from you in a while. We talked about this before. I thought we fixed these things. Shh. Shut up. Now I'm just playing with our guy. Elon is the best. I can't wait to get me a Tesla. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game, right, guys. You know what it is. Shh. Shut up. I know you remember that movie when they were driving by themselves. Right? And what you guys said, it's just a movie, bro. I just bought one yesterday. Good luck. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game, right, guys. You know what it is. Shh. Shut up. But I'll tell you one thing. If I ever see somebody I know pull up on me in a Tesla, and when they get out the car starts driving away by themselves, I said, nah, bro. You gonna catch it.
The Unreal Ancient Mystery of Turkey?
A real rabbit hole? We're going to Turkey. Turkey has some of the wildest stuff on the planet, hands down. Who makes it? Look at this. This is Eagle Castle. I'm probably butchering that name, but does that not look like a pillar to you?
Yeah,
like a giant pillar. That's huge. Those are people. Look at the boat. There's a rock-cut monastery that you can go inside, just like the one in Ethiopia. When you go inside this one, it's decorated head to toe like a cathedral. Turkey is ancient. We have megalithic architecture and rock-cut temples in Sorna, the city of oracles, and the ancient theater of Side rivals the Colosseum in Rome. It's insane. Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe are also in Turkey. These two push civilization back 5,000 years from what we thought. They were buried really fast, like something was happening outside. The fact that every ancient culture has a flood myth would make Derinkuyu make sense. It's an 8-story underground city with locking doors, water access, and air vents. 20,000 people can live in this city, and it is connected by a 5-mile-long tunnel to Kemakli, another underground city, forming a network of over 200 underground cities in Turkey. Its next-door neighbor, Armenia, has a megalithic avenue similar to Karnak in France, making this whole area the most mysterious thing I've ever seen. Have fun with that rabbit hole.
I have a proposal for you. Let me explain. So let's say one day somebody just came up to me and gave me $100, which is super awesome. But they said the only way I could keep this money is I have to split it with somebody else. Good news is I'm going to be splitting the money with you. However, I can choose how much I split with you. I can split $50 with you, $25 with you, or maybe I can just give you the full $100. But I have to give you the money. You can accept the offer, and we both go on about our days, or you can reject the offer, and nobody gets any money at all. And the person who gave me this $100 did it as a social experiment. So my offer is, I'll give you $1 and I can keep $99. Do you accept my offer? Put it in the comments.
If I know you got $100 and you have to split it with me, I would decline that $1. I'm like, dude, give me at least 25. You know what I'm saying? Give me at least 1/4 of the money or something. Like $25. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. It is what it is. The reason he is removing this beaver dam, let's see it.
The reason he is removing this beaver dam.
Ho, ho, ho. Wow.
Gotta say, I was aware that this kind of thing happens, but this was my first time ever seeing a video about it, and it is pretty interesting. This is a video that was sent to me through Instagram DM. This guy can be seen digging. Right here we can see a barrier holding back some water. The barrier then starts to go, and eventually we have a very fast flowing stream of water. According to the caption on the video, what this guy was removing was a beaver dam. It's fair to assume that most people know that beavers build dams, but a lot of people don't know why that is. It boils down to raising the water level so that the entrance to their lodge is hidden, so that they're protected from predators. And depending on the context of a situation, a beaver dam can either be a good or a bad thing. In this case, seeing as the dam was being removed, it was probably causing flooding, potentially impacting human infrastructure. But in a lot of cases, beaver dams can be beneficial because they create wetlands, decrease erosion, and cause valuable ecosystem growth. This is also, again, a pretty small video of a beaver dam. There are much larger removals if you guys want to watch those on YouTube.
I know damn well when that beaver came back, he was mad. He was like, bro, who the hell removed my dam? Can some statue move on its own in an empty chapel? Ew. Okay, let's see it.
Señora.
Who's he talking to? He just said, ma'am.
¿Está aquí con nosotros todavía?
Is he trying to talk to the statue?
Gracias, Juanilla Dira.
That's a pretty big statue.
No mames.
Those are big
no,
statues.
Güey.
Oh.
No mames. No, güey. Se movió esta madre.
I saw that.
No marchen. No estoy moviendo la toma. Estoy prácticamente caminando. No sé si vieron todo, se movió. No marchen.
Deadly virus with no cure has just been detected.
Wow.
This has just been detected near one of India's biggest cities, causing some very large concerns. So far, there are 5 confirmed cases of Nipah virus in India, and officials are scrambling all over the place to try and contain this. It appeared the disease spawned in West Bengal, which is near one of the largest cities filled with millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
One nurse who was working at the hospital is already in a coma because of getting this disease, and the person she was treating is already gone, and they couldn't even test them. There are small numbers being quarantined at the moment who could potentially be high risk or high risk of spreading, in the severe hopes that they can contain this very quickly. Now, there has been outbreaks of this before. This is nothing new. It was first found in the 1990s. Now again, like our old friend, it comes from bats. This is why it's so bad. It is very, very easily spread between people. It's pretty much airborne and can cause brain inflammation or even put you into a coma within 24 hours. And reportedly, the fatality rate is as high as up to 75%. This looks like they're going to be able to contain it, but who knows? I'll keep you updated.
Yeah, hopefully they're able to contain it, because we don't want to have like a, you know what I'm saying, a part 2 of 2020.
This is the first reported death caused by the supernatural, and the way it happened is insane.
Okay.
In 1817, a Tennessee farmer named John Bell encountered a strange dog-like creature in the woods. He fired his gun at it, but the creature disappeared without a trace. Soon after, John and his family claimed they were being haunted by an evil spirit. At first, it was small things, such as knocking and strange noises around the house. But over time, the activity got much worse. The spirit started physically attacking them. It slapped them, pulled their hair, and even knocked John's daughter unconscious. Friends and neighbors claim to have witnessed these paranormal events for themselves and left terrified. Even President Andrew Jackson visited the Bell home. After experiencing the haunting himself, he allegedly said, "I'd rather fight the British than the Bell Witch."
Wow.
But things were about to get even darker. The family would hear disembodied voices that would insult and mock them. But the entity had a particular hatred towards John, declaring that it would eventually kill him. And in 1820, that's exactly what happened. John would pass away after his health suddenly began to decline. Besides his bed, the family found a vial filled with black liquid. The witch would soon claim responsibility for John's death, stating that it had poisoned him. Today, you can visit a cave near the Bale family's old property, said to be the spirit's home.
Nope, humanity was never meant to uncover this, as biblical creatures are not only being revealed from our waters, but the final battle of Armageddon is officially here. People were terrified after the Euphrates River was found not only almost completely dried up, but biblical creatures that were hiding in it are being found, with Rev 16:12 warning that the sixth angel had poured their bowl to create the river, and when it dries up, an army will emerge to prepare for the last battle of humankind. Haunting images are showing long caves just now emerging from the water, and many believe these cages were not naturally formed but made, and likely where the four chained up angels that would destroy a third of mankind were placed into. And since the water is gone, they are coming out. But it gets stranger as authorities are attempting to hide the cave, claiming the caves are not structurally safe for people to check it, yet for some reason also prohibits drones and even journalists from looking at it.
Do you notice something off?
This is one of the most scariest lockdown photos I've ever come across.
Pretty dark,
On January
I can't see
20th,
anything.
2006, at East High, the high school went into a lockdown.
Yeah.
Someone came over the intercom and announced that there were reports of a dangerous person inside the building. When this happens, Gabby Montez is in the washroom and she stays in place. She remains in the girls' washroom and ended up sending this blurry photo to her friend Sharpay, and she's like, I have to stay in here. When her friend saw the photo, she immediately alerted the teachers and police. But when they reached the bathroom, Gabby was found in a pool of blood, having been stabbed more than 18 times. What Gabby didn't realize is that in the dim emergency lights of the bathroom, she had captured that intruder hiding behind the last stall. They would never find this person, and all that remains now is that final frame on her camera roll.
This is a true horrifying story. Part 93. Shared a small place with his 24-year-old brother, Muhammad. For a while, they stayed in a district called Alfsholt before eventually moving to a better apartment in Blackeberg. It was everything they had hoped for. Quiet, safe, convenient, and their friends visited often. And for the first time in a long time, they were truly happy. Months later, on a cold February evening in 2024, Ali was in his room scrolling through social media.
We just captured something that will never come back. This is the final image of interstellar comet 3I Atlas at its closest approach to the Earth. The image you're seeing above me right now is what I captured last night, and getting it was not easy. I stayed up until almost 5 a.m. last night tracking this comet, and I've been testing all week just for this night. I dealt with rain, clouds, and completely blown attempts for hours at a time, basically every single night this week. What you're actually looking at is 200 individual exposures, each being 10 seconds long, all stacked together to reduce noise, enhance detail, and bring out the real color of the comet that I was able to pick up. Over the past few nights, I've actually captured around 1,000 to 2,000 different frames of this comet, but only 200 of those were good. In this photo, you are actually able to see the comet's bright nucleus, the surrounding coma, and then that subtle blue glow is from gases. This is light from something that didn't even form here. It is from interstellar space, and it's only passing through our solar system one time, and we will never see it again. The full resolution photos that I was able to get, if you want to see them, are now officially posted on my Instagram, and for everybody that asked, the 3I Atlas photos are now officially available as poster prints on my website. This is for anybody that wants to go support what we just captured and how long it took to get here.
I remember when they were saying that 3I Atlas could potentially be an alien spaceship or alien probe, but turns out the whole time it was just a comet or an asteroid. So
Creepy real photos that keep me up at night, part 72. This photo was posted to Reddit with the caption, "My nephew is getting married this weekend in New Orleans. The party went on a ghost tour last night. One stop was the notoriously haunted Lalaurie Mansion. My niece's boyfriend snapped this pic during the tour. What do you see on the upper balcony?" Follow for more creepy real photos.
Walt Disney World tragedy. In August 1980, an 11-year-old boy from Long Island traveled to Florida with his family. They were going to Walt Disney World. It was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. Disney World had only been open for 9 years. It was still new and magical. The family stayed at Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground, one of Disney's on-property accommodations. Fort Wilderness sat on the shores of Bay Lake, a natural body of water that Disney had incorporated into the resort. In 1976, Disney opened its first water park there called River Country. River Country was designed to look like an old-fashioned swimming hole. Sandy beaches, rope swings, water slides built into artificial rock formations. The park used water from Bay Lake itself. A dam separated a section of the lake to create the swimming area. The water was filtered before entering the park, but it remained natural lake water. August in Central Florida meant temperatures in the 90s Fahrenheit. The boys spent the day swimming and going down slides. At some point during his visit, water went up his nose. This happens to swimmers constantly. A wave hits wrong. You come up from underwater at a bad angle. Water shoots up your nasal passages. It burns for a moment, then it passes. Everyone who swims has experienced it.
True.
But this time, something microscopic entered the boy's nasal passages along with the lake water. A single-celled organism, an amoeba called Naegleria fowleri. This amoeba lives in warm freshwater, lakes, rivers, hot springs, ponds. It thrives in water temperatures above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. During hot summer months, it becomes more active and more concentrated. Thousands of people swim in waters containing this amoeba every year. Usually, nothing happens. But when water containing it goes up someone's nose with enough force, the amoeba can travel through the nasal passages and cross into the brain.
What?
There it feeds on brain tissue. The infection is called primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, or PAM. The boy left river country feeling fine. Within a few days, symptoms began. Severe headache, high fever, stiff neck, nausea and vomiting, confusion and disorientation. His parents knew something was seriously wrong. They rushed him to a hospital. Doctors ran tests. The infection progressed rapidly. Once symptoms of PAM appear, the disease moves fast. The boy's condition deteriorated so quickly. His brain was swelling. The amoeba was destroying tissue. Eventually, he died in August 1980.
Wow. Dude, that just unlocked like a new fear. I did not know that there was a brain-eating bacteria in just water in general. That is crazy. Strange clouds before the storm. Huge line in the clouds right before the winter storm tomorrow, 1/23/26. I mean, the storm was already passed, but you know what I'm saying? Let's take a look at the video regardless.
Okay, for some reason my feed is full of videos of strange looking clouds and things in the sky ahead of the storm. Here we have I'm sure they would call it a shelf cloud, or some sort of, I think they renamed a bunch of new clouds in like 2012. But it is very interesting. The wind is blowing in such a direction that it, and then of course that's just a plane, that's just ice crystals, of course, condensation and whatnot. But this storm is set to be groundbreaking. Now look at this. This morning after I stoked the fire, we have a massive plume. It was minus 35. Like, this is a frigid day. Yes, we get minus 30 sometimes, but like, it's usually only a couple days out of the winter. Apparently the polar vortex, the eye of that storm, is above our heads right now, and it is freezing. But the Gulf air is hitting that in the middle of the States, which is going to create this precipitation. Hopefully it is completely chill and everyone's totally fine, and maybe the wind blows it away and it's all good. But there's a reason people are rationally concerned about this. And anyone saying, oh, I'm in Canada, it's fine, it's just a bit cold. We're talking about the deep south that's going to get hit with ice. I'm talking this kind of ice, man. Like, whatever amount of millimeters this is, it's heavy. The whole ground was coated in it. There's obviously going to be people where it's just a bit snowy or just a bit rainy, but in the middle, when it's freezing rain. And do you guys in the south have trucks that have salt sprayers? Like, that's what we got in Canada, of course. They salt the roads to melt the ice so that you can drive on them. But there's infrastructure for that here, not there. So this is why people are concerned, like what happened in Texas the other day, last couple of years ago, where they had the snowstorm.
A Russian 747 had a runway excursion yesterday after one of its engines failed during takeoff. Thankfully, we have a video here of the incident. The Rossiya 747's engine number 1, the furthest from the fuselage on the left side, had a compressor surge during the takeoff roll, which resulted in asymmetric thrust and a yaw to the left. This put the 747 into the snowbank, but not completely off of the runway, and thankfully no one was injured.
Doing this can permanently hurt the Kari.
Ho ho ho! Gotta be honest with you guys, I've never seen this creature alive and in the wild like this. It's kind of throwing me off because I've only ever seen the shell. This is another TikTok video that I got tagged in that shows a person touching sea life, something you generally shouldn't do, and they themselves acknowledge. And after touching this outer layer here, this fleshy part peels back. What this person is touching is something that's easily recognizable by its shell, not so much when it's alive, a cowrie. Cowrie are a type of sea snail that live in warm tropical areas. They're quite large. They reside inside of the shell, of course. They also have a fleshy part of their body called the mantle that can actually wrap around the shell on the outside that keeps it nice and polished. Technically, you are able to safely handle a cowrie, but it's really not recommended because your oils and germs can damage the cowrie itself and cause the shell to become tarnished. So again, the number one lesson here, just don't really touch sea life. The only time where it's mostly okay is if the cowrie is already dead and it's just a shell that's left behind. Then it's a cool souvenir.
Michael Packard might be the unluckiest person alive. In 2001, when Michael was 38 years old, he was on a flight over Costa Rica when the small plane he was on crashed. The pilot, co-pilot, and a passenger were all killed on impact, but Michael and the 4 other passengers, they survived the crash. But that plane crash would not be the last time that Michael defied the odds and did something totally unbelievable. Over the next couple of decades, Michael, who was a commercial diver by trade, would survive not 1, but 2 significant encounters with great white sharks off the coast of California. Some of Michael's friends would not be so lucky. Michael would get lost at sea, like treading out in the middle of the ocean with no land in sight for hours lost. But miraculously, a boat would find him and save him again. And Michael would discover the body of a long-time missing person off the coast of Massachusetts. But of all the improbable exploits of Michael's life, none is more unbelievable than what happened to him in 2021, which experts are saying he had about a 1 in 1 trillion chance of experiencing. On the morning of June 11th, 2021, Michael hopped in a boat with his longtime diving partner, Josiah. They took off and headed for the open waters right off the coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where they planned to do some lobster diving. Once they reached this spot right off the coast, Michael put on all of his scuba diving equipment and hopped in the water. And so Josiah remembers watching Michael, who was in the water, and then all of a sudden this eruption of white water came rushing up to the surface right where Michael had gone down below. And so right away, Josiah leaned out over the edge of the boat to see if he could look down and see his friend, but he didn't see Michael anywhere. Instead, he saw something massive moving around underneath them. After Michael had broken the surface on this final dive down to get more lobsters, he felt something smash into him from behind that felt like a truck hitting him, and then everything around him went totally pitch black. And as he's fumbling around, his hands are making contact with what feels like walls all around him. He was inside of an enclosed space, and that's when it dawned on him. He had been swallowed by a whale. For nearly 45 seconds, Michael was trapped inside the closed mouth of a humpback whale. Despite their enormous size, they can be up to 60 feet long and weigh up to 70,000 pounds. They only eat small fish. So when this particular whale realized Michael was not a tiny fish, it began violently swinging its head side to side to try to dislodge Michael, and that caused that eruption of white water to go to the surface that Josiah saw. And after a few good shakes, Michael was spat out of this whale's mouth. After Josiah brought Michael back to shore and called the authorities, Michael was rushed to a hospital where he was evaluated, and unbelievably, he suffered really no injuries. And so later that day, he was discharged. Despite how terrifying this incident sounds, Michael was incredibly casual in all of his interviews about this. And he would tell the incredulous reporters who just could not believe this guy was real that as soon as he was better, he was getting back in the water and going lobster diving.
Hey man, that's actually a good story. Like if I was him, I'd write a book or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
I knew Mark Zuckerberg was a weird dude, but I did not know it was like this. The man spent 10 years wearing the same exact gray shirt every single day just to reduce the number of choices he had to make. Each shirt cost $350 and got him voted as the worst dressed man on earth. When Facebook was still small, he paid this guy 5 million shares just to paint this wall in his office, and today that stock is worth about $2 billion.
Damn.
He drives a $9,000 car to stay humble, yet his home is controlled by an AI called Jarvis that talks with Morgan Freeman's voice.
Jarvis knows when to make me breakfast.
Your toast is ready.
Mark once noticed a paparazzi following him to the beach, so he covered his face in sunscreen to hide from cameras. Obviously, it didn't work. He also once custom made his wife the only Porsche minivan in the world for her birthday and spent $350,000 on a giant 7-fat statue of her. And if that was not strange enough, he once challenged himself to only eat meat from animals he personally hunted for an entire year, saying it helped him feel more connected to nature. For a man worth billions, Mark Zuckerberg proves that being rich does not mean being normal.
I would argue the opposite. We talked in previous videos about how sometimes these millionaires and billionaires live life in creative mode where, like, you know what I'm saying, they have so much money where they just feel like they just get bored. They just get bored and they want to do something else. For example, for Mark Zuckerberg, that's going to hunt some chicken on a random Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe wearing the same shirt 100 times in a year. I don't know. Whatever floats his boat. What is the frame rate of the human eye? I mean, me personally, I don't really think the human eye has a specific frame rate, but our eyesights are usually pretty good, unless you're like legally blind or something.
DJ FTN, o brabo da putaria.
Believe it or not, the answer to this question has a lot of nuance, so bear with me as I go through it briefly. This slideshow that I got tagged in shows different technology with their frame rates. The Switch, I have 30 FPS, new-gen consoles with 120, and then it shows the human eye, insinuating that the frame rate is extremely high.
Yeah.
There's lots of conflicting information online about the frame rate of a human eye. Some people claim that it's 60, anything higher doesn't really work. But if you've ever played a video game before and you've set your hertz or refresh rate higher than 60 frames, you'll know that there is a big difference. Your eye is a continuous stream of information versus frames, which are photos that take place every second. The more photos, the higher the frame rate. In gaming, you can definitely see a difference, though, between 60 frames versus 360, for example, because when you flick, there are more photos between the movement, so it's smoother overall.
Yeah.
In short, there's no one right answer for the frame rate of a human eye. Some people say that it's 1,000 plus, some people say that it's uncapped, which, let's be real, is very unlikely, and some people say that it's as low as 24 frames per second, which is also unlikely.
Yeah. They cannot believe what they see. Let's see it.
They just caught a reality glitch on camera because while coming back home, these sisters noticed something was wrong with the moon. And every time they looked at it from different angles, it only kept getting worse. And when they got closer to it, they recorded unexplainable footage.
Are we sure that's the moon? That's the moon. It's like a satellite. It's so crazy. It's huge. Driving to the moon. What the heck? I don't get it. What's the science?
Wow. DMT laser experiment proves simulation. I think we've seen a video similar to this. Let's see it.
How did you use a laser to prove that we're living in a simulation?
You can use any diffractive laser. If you imagine what you're seeing on my hand right now as a crack, almost like a window, if you look through it, you will start seeing the details of the speckle in such a way that all of a sudden it becomes this code, some kind of a hyperstructure that the code makes, which is actually the thing that really convinces you that something is going on here.
Wow.
The code is extremely coherent, very sophisticated, very clear, super HD, and no matter what angle you look from, no matter who you are, it never resets into something else. Always the same characters.
What have video games come to? Let's see it.
Simulation theory states that if simulated worlds, like video games, ever get to a point that we cannot tell them apart from reality, then we can effectively conclude that our reality isn't real, but we're actually all living in a simulation, and I can prove it with basic math. So we have our reality, V0. Someone in this so-called reality will eventually create a simulated world, like a video game, with perfect graphics and AI models that perfectly emulate humans, physics, and every single thing in our world with one-to-one accuracy. A perfect simulation of our universe. Call it V1. If V1 truly is an exact replica of our reality, then follow me here, it is 100% guaranteed that someone in V1, like a AI human model, will eventually create their own simulated world inside of V1. If someone did it in V0 and V1 is a carbon copy of V0, then someone will do it again in V1. Another simulated world with perfect graphics and AI models that perfectly emulate humans, physics, and every single thing inside of V1 with one-to-one accuracy. That would be V2. Now, the same thing would happen in V2, which creates V3, which creates V4, starting a chain reaction of simulated worlds inside simulated worlds. Infinite nested simulations, like a dream inside of a dream inside of a dream that, by definition, goes on forever. By the logic we've used so far, this chain is guaranteed to start as soon as someone in our world creates this perfect video game. Now let's pause and take a step back. We have one real reality, the base reality, V0, and an infinite amount of simulated worlds, V1 to V infinity. So the probability that our world, the one you're in right now, is the base reality, V0, would be 1 out of infinity, which mathematically speaking is 0%. A 0% probability we're in the base reality equals a 100% probability we're actually living in a simulation. Now the counter theory to this states we haven't created this perfect simulation video game in our reality yet, which means we're either in V0 and haven't figured out how to make it yet, and maybe it's not even possible and we never will, or we're the last simulation in the chain, VX or whatever, and we're still trying to figure out how to create our own perfect simulation, VX+1, which then brings our probability of being in the base reality up to 1 out of 2. 50%. V0 reality or VX simulation. The counter theory to that is that once we do figure out how to create that perfect simulation, this 50-50 scenario no longer applies because we figured it out and we're right back to where we started. 1 out of infinity. Simulation 100% confirmed with sheer math and numbers.
Damn.
Go cry about it. And in case you got lost in the explanation here, remember.
Yo, chat, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that we are the base reality right now where we're at in our current reality? Or do you guys think we are at the end of the chain where we're about to create, within the next couple of years or within the next hundreds of years, another version of this reality?
Subscribe.
That's just something to think about.
There's people living inside GTA 6 right now.
Wow.
I know you're thinking, Matt, what the hell are you on about? Trust me, this is insane.
Yeah.
We all know how advanced GTA 6 is going to be, right? Like all of the crazy graphics and the theories that have been going around of, well, what are some features that's going to be of this game that could be, like, insane? Now, you've probably seen the one big theory of, well, maybe you can even earn real-world money in this game. Like, you could essentially work in GTA 6 eventually and not have a real job. It's far crazier than that. Trust me. You've probably seen this animation before, right? This is on a website, you can go on it, and this butterfly is, well, alive. Like, it's a person. And here, if you look on their website, what's this? Well, this is actual human brains. And you can come in here and actually control it. I can say, well, I want to test it with this. And it actually shows it. It seems complicated because you don't really get what that is, but it is essentially lab-grown brains that they have put into this computer system that can do work for people. In other words, what's in here is the equivalent of human brains. They were just grown in a lab themselves, but these brains think they're real. So the butterfly simulation thinks it's a real butterfly, but is being told what to do by the people. So there's this crazy theory that's been going around that, well, GTA 6, being as developed and advanced as it is, could involve AI to a huge degree with these lab-grown brains. So what if it's so advanced that the characters in the game aren't just realistic, but they actually think they are real? Because they have these AI brains programmed into them, which, yeah, it sounds crazy, but it's not that unrealistic. It would be possible to put one of these AI lab-grown brains in one of these people and make them think they are real.
Not gonna lie, that's a good theory. Like, I could definitely see that happening, mostly if GTA 6 is trying to be like the most advanced GTA. In my opinion, I feel like they're just gonna use AI compared to like a real brain, if you know what I'm trying to say. Brain glitch iceberg. Let's see it, chat.
Brain glitches iceberg. First up, we got deja vu. This is just the haunting sense that you've lived that exact moment before. Sleep paralysis. This is just whenever you're fully awake, but you can't move. It's like your brain wakes up before your body does, and you're kind of stuck between sleep and awake. Sometimes people experience hallucinations during this, and they often misinterpret this for like paranormal events. Frequency illusion. This is whenever you learn something new, and then you just see it everywhere. Scientists think this is caused by selective attention and cognitive biases. Doorway effect. This is whenever you walk through a doorway or into another room and then you completely forget what you're doing. So this has actually been studied through scientific experiments, and while they're not completely sure the reason for this exactly, the studies that they have done have made them think this is some sort of primitive survival mechanism where your brain basically wipes the memory you just had so that you stay alert to new predators in the new environment that you just entered. Jamais vu. So this is the opposite of deja vu. This is whenever familiar things suddenly feel alien. This is often triggered by repetition or fatigue, like writing a word over and over again until it looks wrong. Ideomotor effect. So this is whenever your body moves without you realizing it because of a thought or expectation. Examples of this are like whenever people play with Ouija boards, or whenever people do things like the dowsing rod, which is where people take like sticks or pieces of wire and then they try to use them to find things like water underneath the ground. But in reality, your brain is causing involuntary muscle responses that are caused by some sort of outcome that you want to happen. Presque vu. So this is a phenomenon where you feel like you're just about to remember something, but then you don't. As if you're about to have some sort of huge realization or memory or breakthrough, but for some reason you never fully remember it. As if there is a memory loading screen that is frozen at 99%. Paris syndrome. So this is a phenomenon where tourists overwhelm overwhelmingly Japanese tourists, visit Paris and have such a high expectation for it that when they get there, they are so disappointed that they get physically sick and they feel dizzy and sometimes they throw up. And they can even experience things like delusion or even hallucinations. And basically, people go to Paris and it's so bad that they freak out. This kind of goes to show that emotions truly can affect you physically, and that's kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah,
and
for
anyways,
sure.
I love my brain. I like having a brain in my skull. Do you like that? Comment if you do. Actually, comment the one of these that you experienced the most. Hopefully not Paris syndrome. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you want to watch some longer videos, I'm doing more on YouTube right there. But you guys are very awesome for watching such long videos on here, and I love you. Anyways, thank you, and I will see you in the next one.
For me, I would definitely say probably the doorway effect. There's been a lot of times where I'll walk, like, you know what I'm saying, I'll walk into a different room or walk into a different setting, and I completely forgot what I was even there for. But him saying how emotions can definitely affect you physically, 100%, dude. There's a thing called, like, heartbroken syndrome, and it's where people that went through a breakup or they lost someone close to them, or, like, you know what I'm saying, their dog or cat died or something, they will physically feel pain. There's actually, I'm pretty sure, like, a few people that have actually died from heartbroken syndrome. So, you know what I'm saying? Emotions definitely play effect on you physically. Glitches in the Matrix. Those two girls look the exact same. The exact same.
Glitches that people saw in the Matrix. Every single person in this piano class is the same person. How is it possible that everyone on this bus looks exactly the same? TV shows one thing, but the reflection of the TV shows something else. Looks like the clouds forgot to render on this side. This college textbook looks normal, till you realize the photo on the cover is of them holding the textbook of themselves. Playing a video game and found the exact rug in his room. What are the chances that three identical looking guys all fall asleep next to each other on the bus? Seen while driving, Peekaboo, and I See You. How would the clouds look like this? It looks like it was trying to be a UFO. When the Matrix gets lazy and it just copies their NPC designs. Shadow didn't load and it remained pixelated. Imagine being in a room where everybody's Santa Claus. The cat has become too powerful. Follow for more.
This is prime example of when people be like, bro, I'm not like everyone else. I'm different. What? He just ran through the wall. That is kind of glitchy.
Are we not clocking how terrifying the Ring Super Bowl ad really is under the guise of find your missing pet? It is turning every Ring camera in a neighborhood into AI surveillance, meaning you walk past a Ring camera and it's going to be able to detect who it is. What this allows for is law enforcement, maybe even ICE, to upload a photo and every Ring camera in the area will search for that person. This is terrifyingly dangerous. Sacrifice your privacy to save one dog a day.
I mean, if we're being honest, this naturally already happens. Like, if you go past, like, a security camera in a store or on the side of the road, like, they naturally can, like, you know what I'm saying, scan for faces and stuff like this. It's like them saying, oh, yeah, the Ring camera can do the scanning shit. Bro, they've probably been doing that. They're just now publicly saying they're doing that. NPC glitch spotted, entertainment purposes only. Let's see it, chat.
Oh, I found a glitched person.
What?
Just wait. They look like they're running, right? They're not.
Who is that? Is that an NPC?
They look like they're running in the same spot.
For like 2 minutes.
No way. They're still there. They're going nowhere fast.
What?
That is weird.
Who was that lady? She wasn't going anywhere. She was in the same spot moving.
Yeah.
It looks like she was on an invisible treadmill.
Literally.
Shut up! I'm telling you guys, start paying attention to people and their movements. Because everybody ain't real. Alright? Doesn't mean because you real and you keeping it real that there's real people out there. Stop playing with me, son. This video is for the same purpose only. I don't think that video is real at all. I think somebody's playing around these apps. Shut up! Listen! You've seen this before. This is a glitch. I wouldn't call it a glitch. I call it an NPC rebooting. Broad daylight. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game I got you. You see what's going on out here. Shut up. But I tell you one thing. If I'm ever chilling with somebody or I'm driving somewhere and I see somebody doing that, trust me, I can make the move.
saw my sister who died in 2021 driving on the highway in her old car that she used to drive. But listen, as soon as the music starts, the sky changes. Watch. Did you see that? I didn't notice that at first. And then I also noticed, watch this, the sun shining is literally just shining on her car. This is the car that she used to drive, an old janky police car. And that is my sister. Watch.
That's weird.
That's her.
Watch
this. Watch the spray of sun that just, it's only hitting her car. Look. So to recap all the little signs that I got in that video, she drove under Rainbow Boulevard. It appears she got off on Mission, which Mission is where I used to live. When she drove that car, I was living on Mission, and that's where she would come over and we would have Sister Day. The way she looks in the car with her hat and her ball look exactly like the picture that my friend sent me, the friend that I went to lunch with that day, and I saw her driving after I left lunch that day. And I haven't seen that friend since Emma's funeral. And then the license plate was 8338 ABC. And if you look up 8338 and that angel number, that'll blow your mind. 8338 could be 1111, and it also is 22. I can't believe I didn't notice before how the sky literally changed as this song started. And that song that was playing was Lumineer's Sleep on the Floor, which I didn't know was playing as I was recording it. I just was recording. I wasn't messing with my songs as I was trying to chase this car on the highway. That song was a song that we always thought was about us because we thought one day we would leave this town. I saw my sister driving her car on the highway 4 years after she died. It's incredible.
Hey, that is incredible. Even if that girl wasn't her sister specifically and looked similar to her, that still is an incredible story. While driving also the same car she used to drive. Real dragon captured in China. Y'all think this is a real dragon or is this AI? Let's see it.
It's probably AI. Or is it? How can we ever know if something is real or not anymore? As I think we've all noticed by now, online AI video detectors are notoriously inaccurate, with some analyzing this video as 91% not AI generated, claiming it's real. Run it again with the same tool and it tells us it's 81% certain it is AI generated, still far from 100, which is kind of dystopian because it's AI telling us whether something is AI or not, basically telling us what to believe is true. Really think about that for a sec. Now, unless these AI video detection tools become more reliable in the coming months and years and can consistently tell us whether a video is AI generated or not with a high degree of verifiable accuracy, we are so f***ed. Nothing you see on the internet or on any form of video for that matter is real anymore. Or it might be and no one will believe it. Look, here's me hanging out with Elon Musk. Vids or it didn't happen, right? Plausible deniability has taken on a whole new meaning. Being able to reasonably deny anything we see through a screen as being real, or assuming things that are fake are real, and there's really nothing we can do about it, at least not yet. Like, what if they actually did capture a white dragon in China for real, and now we all have a convenient excuse to dismiss it? Think about it. When you watch any video now and you see that it was posted in, I don't know, 2016, it's like, oh wow, this video is probably real, and you get excited about it. Obviously, CGI, Photoshop, and After Effects still existed back then, but let's be real, it was pretty rare, very noticeable, and took a lot of time and skills to pull off. Definitely. Today, anyone can write up a prompt and have a realistic looking video in seconds. Any cool viral video that was posted anytime after, I don't know, 2023, it's like, yeah, it might be AI. And the magic of the video is just gone. In 2025, we actually reached a tipping point in which the amount of AI generated content on the internet has officially surpassed human content. Really take that in. This is insane, and it's only going up from here. Isn't this exactly what the dead internet theory was saying? Or, I don't know, the plot of The Matrix?
We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI. You mean artificial intelligence?
It's not too big of a deal yet, just because most AI videos are like a few seconds or maybe a minute or two long. But imagine a few years down the line, you're watching a 40-minute Mr. Beast video or whatever, and halfway through the video, you find out it's completely AI generated. Nothing and no one you just saw on screen actually exists. I don't know about you, but I'd feel like I just got fucking scammed. I demand my time back. But maybe we're just being stubborn boomers, and the future new gens aren't gonna care whether a video is is real or AI as long as it's entertaining. If you're achieving the same end result at a fraction of the effort, the entire future of entertainment will have no choice but to be completely AI. Why spend millions of dollars and thousands of hours on special effects when you could do the same thing with a prompt? And the people like us who enjoy real content with real people are gonna be like the grandpas still listening to cassette tapes, while the rest of the world moves on to digital streaming services, angrily waving our hands in the air like, oh, they don't make this stuff like they used to anymore. No shade if you still listen to cassette tapes, I'm just making a point. My prediction is someone will eventually create an AI video detection tool that does tell us whether videos are AI generated or not at an acceptably high rate of accuracy that will be dubbed the gold standard of AI video detection. It will then be required by law that every media platform has this AI video detector gold standard built into their platform, and every video from then on will have some sort of tag or watermark hard-coded into it that tells us whether it's AI generated or not. Most people will probably stand with this AI detection gold standard as the ultimate source of determining truth on the internet. And naturally, you'll have some crackpot skeptics who will think it's all a sham to get everyone to believe whatever they want us to believe is real. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. Save this video, look at the post date. I'm calling it right now. This is happening within the next 3 years. Just watch.
Yeah, he's definitely not lying. I could definitely see this all happening within the next 3 years where we have like a really good AI detecting AI pretty much. But to me, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if humans and AI kind of mix and make content, it'd be amazing, but just straight AI content would just get so boring. Like, yeah, it'd be interesting, but you just know it's not real. So your brain is just going to be like, yeah, it's cool, but like, it's not really, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like if you mix AI and human creation, it could make something very beautiful. I think my camera is seeing into another dimension. Let's see it.
Okay, seriously, I need someone to help me out because I have no idea what's happening right now. My wife bought me like a vintage CRT monitor from the 1980s, okay? Of course, what do? I turn into a live camera feed via Camlink, but there's my things. Where's my furniture? Now wait, just watch this.
What?
This is crazy.
Dude, that's so weird. It did not register any of his like furniture or the tree.
How is that possible? There's my furniture. Where?
How did it also know about that fireplace?
The actual
proof that we live in the Matrix.
This girl caught a real-life glitch in the Matrix on camera.
What the
At
hell?
first, she was just planning to film another makeup video for her socials. But the moment she started brushing product across her face, something happened that honestly makes zero sense. Watch closely in slow motion. She's moving the brush along her face, and at one point, one brush turns into two.
What?
She notices it right away and gives the camera this totally confused look. She swears she didn't do it on purpose, and that it's not some staged trick. Of course, the comments immediately started saying she broke the Matrix, and videos like this are all over the internet. For example, here's another one. A girl is sitting at an outdoor table filming something. Suddenly, behind her, we see a man walking past. But here's the problem. He goes behind her, and he never comes out on the other side. Like he just vanished. But how is that even possible? In one last video, a kid is playing with a Christmas ornament, rolling it across the floor, and at a certain moment the ornament just disappears, and even her parents admitted they couldn't ever find it again.